This lesson is the first in the UX research part. This could take a whole course to itself. In fact, hundreds of books have been written about the subject. And at first I wasn't sure if I was going to cover the subject, but I really think you won't be able to do a good job designing your app without understanding a few basic principles and without going through a few exercises. I've made it concise and simple, and I've selected the main techniques and concepts you should know about to be really efficient. I think this section is a good example of the Pareto rule, which is the 20% of knowledge that will allow you to accomplish the 80 or 90% most important tasks. Design is the art of solving problems, and you can't hope to craft a good product with a good design if you don't understand what problem you're solving. The big risk when you have an idea is to think too fast. We think about how a product is going to work and look like, what cool features it could have. We all do it because it's exciting. But because we're doing that, we tend to overlook the root of our idea, the problem we're trying to solve. This is why Dave McClure, founder of 500 Startups, a famous startups incubator, often tell people who pitch him their ideas, your solution is not my problem. What it means is that he's more interested in a problem that really bothers people than in a product idea that someone thought was cool. And the purpose of this lesson is to help you make sure the problem your app is trying to solve exists, and to make sure you understand how it exists. The entrepreneur in me tells me to make a side note here. This course is about design, not about business, but if you're an entrepreneur, the two things are deeply intricated. And if you're not an entrepreneur, well, you might become one sooner than you think. If you haven't heard about The Lean Startup by Eric Ries and Customer Development by Steve Blank, take a few minutes to go through the resources I've linked to in the description. The core of the Lean Startup and Customer Development philosophy is that everything you do in your work as an entrepreneur must follow the cycle hypothesis, test, and learnings and refine. And it's exactly the same thing for design. This is how I encourage you to work, and it's actually how we'll work on our problem. So let's start with the hypothesis. What do we think our problem is? Let's pretend we are at the start of Instagram a few years ago. The problem hypothesis for our app will be that it's complicated to share pictures taken with your phone on social networks. But that's not enough. We need to make an hypothesis about who has this problem. College students use their smartphone a lot, and social networks a lot too, so that's a good first hypothesis. So how can we test that? Well, it's pretty simple. We're going to talk to these people to make sure that they really have this problem. In the next video, I'll give you a few tips about how to talk to potential users. Thanks to these conversations, our hypothesis will be validated or invalidated. The insights we get during these conversations will allow us to refine our hypothesis. Maybe this problem exists, but for another category of people, or maybe these people have a stronger pain than the one we had identified. In our conversations, we could have learned that college and high school students don't really care about sharing pictures on social networks with their phones. They just want to take funny pictures and send them to their friends without having to fear that these pictures get out of hand. This could be a great pivot towards something we could call Snapchat. But let's say that's not what happened. What happened is that only some of the people we interviewed really cared about that problem. People who already take a lot of pictures and want to share them, like photo bloggers or people who happen to love photo and technology. So we'll change our customer hypothesis. And we'll go talk to more of these people to make sure this new customer hypothesis is right. And after interviewing them, we might discover that what was really preventing them from sharing pictures taken with a smartphone is that smartphone pictures are not very pretty and thus not really worth being shared. So our customer target is interesting, but if we tackle another problem for them, the fact that smartphones pictures look dull. I'm not making this up. The goal of Instagram really is to solve these two problems. If you go to instagram.com, about us, FAQ, you can see in the how did the idea come about section that the goal is really to solve these two problems. Mobile photos always come out looking mediocre. Sharing on multiple platforms is a pain, and 3 most uploading experiences are clumsy and take forever. 2 and 3 are, in my opinion, 2 components of a more general problem, so I've merged the 2 to keep it simple for now. Because I really want you to understand something. Don't try to solve more than 1 or 2 problems at once. You lose your focus, and so will your app, and this is the best way to make it irrelevant and cluttered. Remember, good designers solve problems, Great designers solve the right problems. So this is your homework. If you're already working on a personal project, take a piece of paper and write down your problem hypothesis in less than 10 words. Same thing for your customer hypothesis. That's it. Pretty simple, right? You don't even need to go out to talk to customers yet. By the way, keeping a piece of paper with your validated problem on the wall near your desk is a good thing to do. This will allow you to make good decisions. Whenever you find yourself working on a new feature, a screenflow, a particular UR element, ask yourself, does that really help solving my problem?